guys, Stingray72 here with a drama story that a friend of mine allowed me to share with you guys because he needs some feedback and he needs some feedback quick. I'm going to start reading the story. Mark met Sherry online. Everything seemed okay. Their conversations were really good. They have a lot in common and they were kicking it. A few days later, after conversing heavily, they decided to meet up for coffee. Mark shows up to the cafe about 45 minutes early and orders his coffee, intending to relax, chill out, get himself together, decompress from the workday before the date. While he's reading, he noticed an older man staring at him from across the room. He didn't think too much of it, but the man appeared to be showing great interest in him. So, after about 15 minutes of staring, the old man got up, walked out, and left the cafe. He felt that was weird, but he said he didn't think anything more of it because the gentleman did leave. Mark continues on reading, looks up, and realizes it's about 10 minutes until he meets up. Sherry texts him and says, "How close are you?" He says, "I'm already at the cafe. Come on in. Park your car. I'm sitting by the front door." Or by the door. Yeah, by the door. Okay. Shortly after that, the older man walks back into the cafe, sits back in his spot across the cafe at the same table, and starts staring at him again. So he decides that he just wants to leave. He felt that it may be too dangerous for Sherry. He didn't want her weirded out, so he planned to meet at another spot. He texted Sherry to figure out exactly where they were going to go, and just as he decides to do that, as he's walking out of the door, Sherry catches him by the arm and says, "Hey, I'm here. What's going on? What's wrong? Why are you trying to leave?" So he told her that let's step outside so that we can talk about this. I have a bad vibe about this place, and this creepy old man keeps staring at me. I didn't want you to feel weirded out, so I decided let's just go somewhere else. Curiously, she asks, Who are you talking about? Mark then describes what the man looks like and then points to him through the cafe glass window. And she says, "Oh no, that's my dad." Okay, so Mark says, why is he doing all this recon mission for his daughter, trying to check me out? Why didn't he just walk up to me and say something? What the hell is going on here? That's red flag number one for me. Mark said he was weirded out about the whole situation, but he thought, okay, well, maybe she had some bad experiences before and she wanted to be safe, so she had someone try to, as they said on the Cosby Show, give a weather report. I remember that episode. Wasn't impressed. Dating is kind of dangerous these days, so he thought nothing of it. Mark figured that it made sense, so he didn't trip. So they both went over to the older man, and he met her dad, and he said, "I wanted to make sure that the guy that you were is who you said you were in all of your message." So Mark said, "Okay, I can respect that." He then told them to enjoy their date. The father gets up and leaves the cafe. She explained about how being an only child has its upsides and downsides and apologizes for what's going on and understand that he is being very protective of me, and this is one of the downsides. Now, anyway, they get to the cafe, they sit down at their table, they chat for a while, and then they decide to go for a walk. There is a nearby park about 5 minutes away from the cafe, so they decide, let's go and hang out there. We're sitting in the park on the park bench, and we decide to go get something to eat at a local restaurant. We have yet to decide which one we're going to. It was a bit chilly that evening, so as we're walking back to the cars, we decided to leave her car there and I will take her. She asked if we can stop past her house so that she can grab a jacket before we went to dinner. He says cool, so we make the pit stop at her place. Okay. They arrive at her place. They go inside. He has a seat, and he's greeted by none other than her mom and dad. They chatted up a bit while she goes to grab a jacket. They seem nice but very overbearing. Sherry calls Mark back to her room so that he can meet her cat. The entire time that I'm back there meeting the cat, the parents are walking directly behind him. They are ear hustling, and Sherry is playing along with it for some reason. Mark asks Sherry, "What restaurant do you want to go to?" And as the question flew out of my mouth, her father rushed in to show a list of suggested spots, and then pivots and says, "Or even y'all can order delivery or carry out, and we can all eat right here at the dining room table." Mark said, "No offense, sir or ma'am, but I prefer that we decide where we're going to go on our own, and we can go somewhere more private and relax so that Sherry and I can get to know each other." They seemed really hesitant to this, and Mark is getting more and more agitated and turns to Sherry and asks, "Is this how all your dates normally go?" Her father interjects and says, "No, because usually we don't allow her to go out with men. But you passed a background check and your text messages made her feel happy. Your text messages made her smile, and you seem like a nice guy." So I was like, okay, I guess we can give you guys the approved list. And then, like I said, if you all go to one of these places on the approved list, I'm sure we'll be well taken care of. And he said, "Wait, with all due respect, sir, you're not invited. And wait, a background check? You read our text messages? All of this advanced recon and a list of places that she's allowed to have dinner? And she can't go unless she brings you with her?" Mark told them that this wasn't going to work for him and that they were extremely over the top with their expectations and their precautions. So Mark left Sherry and her father. Keep in mind, Sherry is 30 years old. A few days passed, and Mark received a bunch of text messages and calls from Sherry's father saying that he was supposed to be better than this. After your background investigation shows that you have integrity, diplomacy, and tact, and you respond this way to a little bit of recon being done on you behind your back, you were supposed to be better than this. I'm really glad that my daughter chose to not be with you. So Mark waited a few days before he responded, and he told them that this is just not normal or it's not healthy. Your daughter is 30 years old, and she can't date unless you approve, and you also have to be there. Where they do that at? Mark went on to tell them to please lose my number. You will be blocked, and I'll press charges and get restraining orders if I find you lurking again. What is your take on this story? I'm gonna tell you this. I really believe that this is a true story. If it ain't, it's laid out very well. But I'm gonna tell you something. Ain't nothing that important. Your daughter is 30 years old, and this is something that she needs to nip in the bud. I can't even be mad at the father. The mother ain't saying much in here. She's just going along to get along. It's the daughter's fault. It's the daughter's fault. And I understand dating is dangerous. I get all that. I understand all that. But damn, really? This is what you're doing? So, yeah, dating is dangerous. It's a dangerous game out there, people. How are you holding up? Anyway, I just thought that this story was awesome. And I really wanted to get you all's feedback on it. I asked him if I could share this on my channel, and he said yeah. So here it is. Here's the story. So please let me know what you think about this in the comment section. If you know of anybody this has happened to, if you've been through something like this, I've just thought that this was absolutely crazy. So here we have this 30-year-old woman who is being pigeonholed into being a little girl by her father. Okay, I know people who are the only child and whose parents are protective, but not this protective, not at 30 years old. Girl, who hurt you? Like, I don't know. Anyway, that's the story. He's sticking to it. Yeah, like I said, give me your feedback in the comment section below. Would you stick around for something like this? Neither would I. To the next story. Bye. Oy vey.